channel. My name is Nala Putudu, and this is Study with Nala, where we get smart. So you're probably wondering, where have I been? Oh, you're not wondering. You haven't noticed. Well, whether or not you've noticed, I haven't posted in a while because like you, I'm a student, and the PhD has been showing me flames, to put it mildly. Yeah, I've been studying and I just haven't been able to post a video. So yeah, I'm sorry about that. It is what it is, but I am posting a video now, and I want to talk to you about your study timetable. I think it's a good time to talk to you about this because I really hope you've been studying or trying to study for the past month or so, and we're still early in the year, early enough for you to do something about your CTA study routine, whatever. Yeah, now guys, let's just be honest. If we did if we actually all did what our lecturers tell us to do, we would probably be fine. The trick is that we're not able to do that. For instance, if you check your UNISA tutorial letter, I believe they say you need about 30 hours a week. You know, they recommend around 30 hours a week study time, and they're assuming obviously that you're not attending classes, and they do say you might even need to put in a bit more hours if you are, for instance, weak in a particular subject, right? Now if you do that, let's be honest, if you sit down for 30 hours a week and you are productively studying, I mean, you won't have problems. You really won't. And you do that for the year. I auto pass, like, really. The problem is we don't do that. The problem is we don't sit down for 30 hours a week, and we all have our different reasons for it, and I'm not even going to like downplay certain reasons. We all have our different reasons for why we don't put in the minimum hours that they say we should put in. You could have literally like life, family responsibilities, life responsibilities, adulting responsibilities, or you could be a full-time student who just does not know how to manage how to put in 30 hours of study time a week, and you even feel worse because people are like, really, what is it that is stopping you from studying? Because all you're supposed to be doing is study and you're not doing it. So I'm not here to judge you. I'm more here to say, what are you going to do? Because these are the hours that the university recommends, you know, give or take a few. This is what you should be putting in, and I genuinely feel like if you did put in those productive hours, you'd be okay. Now, I personally think sometimes we underestimate this concept of studying. You know, in high school, in primary school, your parents tell you go study. Go study, go study. Your teachers, you must study for a test. And half the time, most kids just don't know what are they supposed to be doing. And that discourages them, and they can sit down at the table in front of their books and be completely lost. They can sit down for 3 hours and look, you know, they studied for 3 hours, but not much was achieved in that time, you know. And I think we underestimate the concept of studying. And when we say put in 30 hours study time a week, 30 hours study time, productive study time, is a lot. It is a lot, all right? It is really, it will take a lot out of you. And it's not just something that, oh, I can just do that. I'm going to wake up at the beginning of CTA and I'll be able to just study 30 hours a week so easily, or 40 hours a week if you need 40. It's not just something that's just going to happen. You need to build up to that. And that's what I want to get into. When we are talking about the ultimate CTA timetable, there is the goal, there is the target, which is what is in your study guide, you know, where they recommend 30 or 40, 30 hours or whatever. Then there's you, what you are actually doing. And in as much as the goal is nice to regurgitate and to put on paper and say, okay, I'm going to sit down and study from 2 a.m. until 6 a.m. every morning. It's nice to write that, right? But at 2 a.m. when the alarm goes on and you don't wake up, you're not studying, right? I want to talk to you. I want to know what hours are you putting in when? Yes, you. What hours are you putting in, right? And be honest with yourself. It doesn't help to lie to yourself, to say, oh, okay, I'll get this 30 hours. If you're not putting in 30 hours, just be honest with yourself. If you're only putting in 10 hours, be honest with yourself. Be honest. If you're only putting in 5, I will say it. If you're only putting in 5, be honest with yourself, because that's where you are. That's how fit you are. You are capable of putting in 5 hours a week. By doing that, by being honest with yourself, you're able to see that gap. For instance, I'm going to use 5. I'm really going to use 5 for the sake of simplicity. And for anyone out there who feels like they can only study 5 hours a week, or they're only putting in 5 hours a week for whatever reason, and you just feel like 30 is impossible, right? You're only putting in 5 hours a week. By being honest with yourself and seeing this, and not lying to yourself with a fictitious timetable that you don't follow, you can see there's a clear gap between where you are and where your lecturers expect you to be operating at. There's a clear gap, and that gap, for instance, would be 25 hours. Now, the stupid thing, okay, let me not say stupid, we don't use words like that on this channel, but the unhealthy thing for you to do would be to say, okay, I'm only putting in 5 hours a week now, so that means I need to go to 30. So next week, I'm going to change my timetable, and I'm going to put in 30 hours a week. That would be a very unhealthy jump, an unhealthy thing to do, because one, you are not study fit to put in 30 hours a week. So you're going to write a timetable that you say you're going to follow, where you say you're going to study 30 hours a week, and you won't achieve it. It's highly probable that you won't achieve it. It's going to demotivate you. You're going to feel extremely discouraged, and it's probable that after that week of not achieving your study goal, you might go back and study even less than 5 hours the following week. So what you need to do is you need to realize that this is not just something that happens overnight. You need to build up to that study fitness. And I know it sounds ridiculous, right? I'm like, you need 30 hours a week, and when here you are at 5. And I'm saying you can't jump from 5 to 30. I'm saying you need to build up steadily. And you're probably thinking, I don't have that time. I do not have the time to build up steadily. I need to jump. I'm saying to you, you cannot jump. If you jump, there's nothing underneath. You're going to fall. You're going to crash. You're going to find yourself in the same spot a month later where you're still stuck on 5 hours. I want you to build up those 5 hours, to build up to 30. And I want you to give yourself a healthy amount of time, a reasonable amount of time to get to those 30 hours. So for instance, now it's the 7th of March, né? And let's say you're only studying 5 hours a week. And what I would say is a reasonable goal is to say, by the end of this month, I want to be able to study 10 hours a week, right? But you're not just going to increase by 5 hours in a week. So you're saying, this week I'm going to put in 5 productive hours. Next week, I'm going to put in 7 productive hours. The other week, I'm going to put in 9 productive hours. So you're slowly increasing by 2 hours every week. By the end of the week, by the end of the month, you'll be able to do 10 productive hours. By the end of April, you'll be able to do, 18 productive hours. By the end of March, you'll be able to do, 24, 25, 26 productive hours. You get it, guys. The maths, you get it, right? Point is, you will get to a time when you're able to put in those 30 productive hours. But I would encourage you to get there at a slower pace. Allow yourself to build up slowly so that you develop a strong work ethic where you're exam fit. By June, you will be putting in 30 hours a week consistently, and it will be 30 productive hours a week. It won't just be 30 hours where you're going to the study hall, you're sitting there and you don't know what you're doing, or you're chatting to friends. These are 30 power, high impact hours where you're studying and you know what you're achieving after every study session. So that's just something for you to think about. I know, like for instance, you guys are writing a test, if not next week, the other week, you're writing a test, and I know during test time, you're like, the adrenaline is going, it's high, right? So you're able to put in a lot of hours. I'm discarding those hours that you're going to put in. I'm talking about the consistent hours that you're going to put in throughout the year. I want you to build up those hours. Don't rely on adrenaline hours that you can put in a week before a test or 2 days before a test. That adrenaline doesn't last the whole year. So a day or two before a test or 3 days before a test, you're able to put in 8 hours and you can really just like go, but you don't have that the whole time. So you want to build up on that, on those productive hours, and be a consistent student that is able to put in the 30 hours that you need in order to successfully complete the degree. So just do that. Just think about it. Don't place yourself under unnecessary pressure where you are really just trying to achieve something you're never going to achieve. Build up to it. Don't underestimate studying. Studying is not something that just happens. You need to work at it. And I'm saying this as well for somebody who might be feeling like, oh my gosh, I feel so inadequate. I don't know how to study. I don't know how to do this. It's impossible for me to do this. I don't want you to feel like that, because we all start there. You are not yet fit to put in so many hours. Build up slowly at your pace to put in the hours that you need to put in. If you can only increase by an hour a week, increase by an hour a week. But make sure that you're seeing a little bit of increase every week. And before you know it, you'll be putting in those hours. And more importantly, those hours will actually be high impact hours. I think that's it for today. I'll see you guys hopefully next week.